You're watching QTV, broadcasting from the Gambia, and this is the news with me, Mariatu Sidibe. Coming up in our headlines, the ferry Kanilai is ready for operation after being out of service for over 2 months. The women of Kampati in the Fonyi Kansala district, West Coast region, are reaping the benefit of baby corn cultivated on their 5 hectares garden. Officials from the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development are on a visit to the Gambia. And in sports, one of the Gambia's oldest football club, Hawks, partner Kelemes for the provision of quality branded jersey ahead of the commencement of the 2018-2019 domestic leagues. Those were our headlines, and now the news in detail. The ferry Kanilai is ready for operation after being out of service for over 2 months. The ferry has been under maintenance, and the officials of the Gambia Ports Authority say it will be fully operational by Friday. Babukar Sise reports.
The ferry Kanilai is now in good condition and ready for operation. The much-awaited news was delivered by the General Manager of the Banjul Shipyard at the Gambia Ports Authority.
The vessel was precisely slipped up on September the 10th, and from that day to date we've been working tirelessly, but we are at the final end now, as you can see. The logistics for the launching process for sending her into the water is on high gear now, and by tomorrow, inshallah, the vessel will be going into the water. It's all a gradual process, and as you say, by early Friday morning, God willing, you should find the vessel at the ferry terminal.
While the ferry Kanilai was undergoing maintenance, only one ferry, Kunta Kinte, was operational round the clock. The Deputy Managing Director, Ferries, Hali Abdullah Gai, defended the decision to use only one ferry for so many days.
During the time we were operating one ferry, that is the Magal, what we did was we extended the operating time. The ferry was operating 24 hours for 5 consecutive days. We also extended the operations at Trans-Gambia. We also take certain measures, that is to say that we suppress the trucks. We said trucks are not crossing. They were encouraged to go to Bambatenda and Yelitenda to cross there. So we are giving priority to buses, minivans, and small cars with 24-hour service and aided by our engineers, because all hands were on deck during those 5 days. Every 24 hours, the ferry will stop for 1 hour, they change the oil, change the filters, and certify it to go again. So it was like the ferry was not being overworked. According to the engineers, it was fine, as long as it was going according to their procedures and system.
Most institutions are faced with constraints. The Gambia Ports Authority ferry services is not an exemption when it comes to maintenance.
We need a functional shipyard. This shipyard should be equipped with a cradle, a modern cradle. It should have a jetty, it should have a cofferdam. All these things are very urgent, and they are absent. If you look at the size of the operating vessels in the country, it's huge in terms of fishing vessels, in terms of leisure vessels, in terms of ferries. But they don't have a functional shipyard. You know, under normal circumstances, we expect to have a cradle that will be able to slip and unslip vessels. You know, today Kunta Kinte cannot be slipped with balloons because it's bigger than Kanilai. So we are concerned. So that's why management is doing everything possible to make sure that the investment that is necessary to achieve a functional shipyard is pursuing it vigorously. This is one of our #1 priority.
The Deputy Managing Director, Ferries, went on to say that the Gambia Maritime Authority, which is the regulatory body for the maritime industry, has inspected and certified the ferry Kanilai as seaworthy. For QTV News, I am Babukar Sise.
The women of Kampati in the Fonyi Kansala district, West Coast region, are reaping the benefit of baby corn cultivated on their 5 hectares garden. Radville Farms is facilitating the exportation of the crops with support from the Gambia Commercial Agriculture and Value Chain Management Project, GCAV, and Horticulture Technical Services under the Ministry of Agriculture.
125 women from the cluster settlements of Kampant, Badagar, Jibangari, Kampong, and Sarengar within the Fonyi Kansala district were busy harvesting their baby corns for the 4th time. cultivated 3 months ago, the garden was funded by GCAF, Radville Farms, and Horticulture Technical Services. Tumbul Bojang said the cultivation began following a contract signed between Radville, the suppliers of the crop, and the women. She pointed out that the adequate water supply from the installed solar panels, a mechanized fertilizer mixing equipment, and a water drainage system made their work easy from start to finish. She said efforts were being made to sustain the garden after GCAF phases out next year.
When we work, we have an agreed amount that we will put into our bank accounts so that when GCAF phases out and we see broken pipes or other spoiled equipments, we will be able to use part of that money to maintain the garden. We know that the money gained from the produce must not be shared all, but be saved.
Mohammed Bojang, member of the VDC, said the initiative came from a collaboration between the Village Alcalo and the Village Development Committee to help the women engage in horticulture production to enhance their livelihood. He expressed gratitude to the donors, GCAF and Radville Farms, for their swift response. We must extend our gratitude to GCAF and partners for this because we applied for support which they accepted and provided a perimeter fence, a solar pumping water supply, and Radville bought us our produce without delay. Lamin Sanyang, Horticulture Officer, Department of Agriculture Technical Services, said GCAF have selection criteria where interested applicants are vetted. He said the applicants are required to secure a leased land in their name. Mr. Sanyang promised to work with the women to sustain the project.
We want to make sure that whatever we do with these women is sustainable, so that they are, after the sale of the produce they have in the garden, a special percentage is kept for the garden, so that in case of any issues after the project phase out, they will be able to take care of those issues themselves.
For his part, Bakari Kamara from GCAF explained that the $19 million World Bank project lasts for 5 years. He said it was meant to support and improve the production and marketing of 3 value chain commodities in rice and vegetables.
We are proud to say today, to associate ourselves with GCAF, that it is first of its kind to have such an initiative. And the tools or the materials that are involved in the bringing of such an investment, we can see that they are all up to standard. The fence, as you can see, is all galvanized. The tank, you can see, is well done. Fertilizer application, you don't need to use your hands anymore. Water is available. So every other system in the garden is up to standard.
The women had harvested over 80 bags of 20 kilograms of baby corn ready to be collected by Radville Farms.
At the request of the Gambia Tourism Board for assistance, personnel of the security forces last Saturday embarked on a clearing exercise of bushy areas along the tourism development area. In an interview with QTV's Aliou Cissé, Lieutenant Colonel Omar B. Bojang, Army PRO, said the exercise was part of efforts to keep the environment clean.
As you may be aware, one of the constitutional rules of the Gambia Armed Forces is to come to the aid of the civil authority upon request. And a request was made from the Gambia Tourism Board for us to come and assist them, clear some of the areas that have been very, very busy. And this exercise, members of the Gambia Armed Forces are involved from the Gambian Navy, who are at the around BBN, and the personnel from the Gambia, from the 1 Infantry Battalion Yundum, are also here at Palmarima, and others are also starting from the Sting Corner. This is an ongoing effort by the Gambia Armed Forces to keep our environment clean. It could be recalled that the Chief of Defense Staff has come up with an initiative, what we call Operation Clean and Green Initiative. This is meant to keep our environment clean and also to grow some of the trees so as the environment can be kept clean. And we are here to help the Gambia Tourism Board. As you may be aware, the tourist season has already started, and the tourists have already started arriving. And it is the responsibility of each and everyone to keep your environment clean. And the tourism development area, which is the hub and center of the tourism industry, the place is not very, very clean, and
Once the request was made, the Chief of Defense Staff wasted no time to approve for his men to slim into action, and this is why we are here this morning. And we've seen also members of the Gambia Police Force and other sister services are also here. This is to demonstrate the cordial relationship between the armed and security services of the Gambia. And as you may be aware, the Gambia Armed Forces have taken a new approach towards security, that is human-centered security. Unlike previously when people are looking at the regime security, but now people are taking security to the doorstep of every Gambian, and keeping the environment clean is one of the areas that the Gambia Armed Forces is also embarking on, so as to keep the environment safe and clean.
The Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital, the country's main referral hospital, has received donation of medical items worth over £3,000 from Gambia Health Matters, GHM, a charitable organization of Gambians based in UK. Omar P. Jallo reports.
It was formerly known as the Royal Victoria Teaching Hospital, RVTH, changed its name in 2013 to Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital. Built in 1853 by the British colonial government, the hospital is the main referral and only teaching hospital in the country. The hospital is financed by the government through its subvention scheme. However, this is regularly not sufficient to fund all its services. To ease the financing difficulties, a number of donors make gifts of cars and equipment to the hospital. The latest to donate to the hospital is the Gambia Health Matters, a charitable association based in the UK. Speaking on behalf of the chairperson of the association, Dr. Keva Marena said the association is committed to complementing government's efforts in improving the health sector.
As the chairperson of the Gambia Healthcare Matters UK, I am happy to be making this presentation today on behalf of the organization. At Gambia Healthcare Matters, as sons and daughters of the Gambia and as individuals who have the interest of our people at heart, we are very happy to be able to do our little bit from our side of the diaspora to be able to help in the upliftment of our healthcare services, especially our main referral hospital, EFSCH. Hence the donation of these items today. The Gambia Healthcare Matters UK is a newly formed charity organization that exists purely out of its members' love for country, desire and passion to help to better the Gambia's healthcare system for every individual living and visiting the Gambia. We have been in existence since December of 2017.
On the items donated, Dr. Marena has this to say.
By the organization, others were donations when they heard of what we were trying to achieve. It started off by us trying to see if we could get bed sheets. So there's 100 fitted sheets with 100 flat sheets, and also blankets for patients, as well as pillowcases, towels, and face towel. And then once we started that drive, people came in to donate further items. So we have some dressings items like gloves, some dressings, disposable dressings trays. We have glucometers, which we know there's a significant shortage of, strips for testing the blood sugar for the glucometers, and we have some TVs, 5 wheelchairs. I believe there's also a desktop computer involved. And various things that people have put together, things that we know are useful. I have spoken to the head nurse of the ward, Adama, and we tried to identify some of the areas that she really wanted help in, and we've tried to assess that and try and give.
In receiving the donated items, the charge nurse orthopedic ward, Adam Njai, commended the Gambia Health Matters Association for the gesture, while calling on others to come forward and support the hospital in any way they can.
I am very delighted when I was informed about this presentation this morning. It's a step in the right direction, and I would like to congratulate the group, Gambia Healthcare Matters, for coming up with this initiative. Actually, orthopedic ward is very demanded, and these are some of the items that we need to facilitate work to help in improving nursing care and the management of the patients. Towel, bed sheets, wheelchair to ease mobility, TV. Most of the patients, as he rightly says, are confined in bed. So having the TV set make them aware of the surroundings. So I would like to encourage the group to keep up the momentum. We call this volunteerism. It's a step in the right direction, as I had said. It's giving back to the community. So we like to also encourage others to come forward. We need this type of initiative to help us develop the health sector. FSTH in particular, which is the basic center of referrals for patients in the Gambia. Thank you.
Mamadou Lamin Jammeh and the department matron's surgery Lamin Sanyang both expressed similar sentiments. Reporting for QTV News, I am Omar P. Jallo.
The Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, in partnership with the Gambia Bankers Association, today hosted officials from the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development. The gathering, according to officials, is to enhance engagement between the financial institution and the public-private sector. Sajo Brito reports.
With debt levels rising, attracting more private sector investment to sub-Saharan Africa has become more important than ever. The ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development aims at contributing to the economic development of West Africa through the financing of projects and programs, in particular those related to transport, energy, telecommunications, industry, poverty alleviation, the environment, and natural resources. The Gambia is one of the 15 member countries that established the financial institution, with a mission to foster the emergence of an economically strong and industrialized West Africa with fully integrated economic system at both regional and global levels. In his opening statement, Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, Honorable Mambu Njai, thanked the financial institution for prioritizing Gambia and staging the roadshow, acknowledging the institution's role as sovereign investors with a dual mandate to create jobs and support economic growth in its member states, including the Gambia. This gathering, according to the Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, is timely, following the International Monetary Fund and World Bank's annual meeting in Bali, where the issue of low levels of public and private sector investment in sub-Saharan Africa were recognized and emphasized by finance ministers. Gambia's economy has suffered exogenous shocks in the past, especially in 2014 when the country experienced erratic rainfall and the spillover effects of the regional Ebola crisis, causing gross domestic product to decline from 5.6% to negative 0.2%. The Minister of Finance, however, said the country's economic recovery is well underway.
And the outlook is favorable, although contingent upon continued adherence to policy reform agendas. The pickup in growth in 2017 to an estimated 2.5% from 2.2% in 2016 was underpinned by a recovery in agriculture following improved weather conditions and rebound in tourism, increased trade, and renewed foreign direct investment.
President of IBID, His Excellency Bashir M. Ifo, said his institution's presence in the Gambia is to explore and foster a fruitful partnership between the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development, the government of the Gambia, and the private sector operators, with a view to scaling up the bank's intervention in the country. But despite the bank's effective participation in the region, the Gambia
has benefited less from the EBID's intervention since our inception. As of September 2018, the bank's total cumulative intervention in the Gambia amounted to about 29 million units of accounts, or about $41 million US, for 6 projects, 5 of which are in the public sector and 1 the private sector. This low level of intervention in the Gambia explains our presence here today, to identify ways and means of expanding our portfolio in the country. With the ongoing reforms under the newly formulated National Development Plan 2018-2021, coupled with the political stability, we believe that this current momentum presents a good opportunity to engage both the public and private sectors to foster strong partnership in financing inclusive and sustainable development in the Gambia.
Currently, the bank investment in the Gambia stood at $41.5 billion US in the areas of telecom, energy, and infrastructure. QTV News, I am Sajo Brito.
As part of an ongoing 2-week sensitization exercise, officials of the Food Safety and Quality Authority on Wednesday visited Al-Bihaj Supermarket and King Baker's Bakery in Bijilo. The team also visited a local bakery in Talinding, led by the Risk Communication Officer Halimatu Balde. The team first visited Al-Bihaj, where they engaged staff of the supermarket, as well as inspect some of the food items on sale. After the exercise, Mari Jabang, Food Safety Inspector, spoke to journalists on the need for vendors to observe good hygiene practices.
Yes, there are charges. The Food Safety and Quality Authority has an act, and the act is very, very active. We don't joke with that. So if one is found wanting, we prosecute you and take you to the law court, because food cannot be saved without a proper and then a hygienic environment. So if the environment is safe, already the food is safe. It is very, very important that we be very, very careful with information. Once you get an information, you should channel it to the right source. And anything related to food and food safety should be channeled to the Food Safety and Quality Authority, not leaving it to the social media for people to comment and just comment and leave it like that. It should be handled, it should be taken care of. So anyone that sees any malpractices in the markets, in the supermarkets, or anything that is not in line with the Food Safety and Quality Authority Act in terms of safety of the food and the quality of the food should be reported to the Food Safety and Quality Authority Act, and we will take necessary measures. Food vendors are also very much important to us, because the local people buy from the local food vendors. So in the supermarket there it's good, but in the local market it should be good too, because the people in the local market too should register with the Food Safety and Quality Authority, and the people in the supermarkets or the bigger, larger establishments should also register with the Food Safety and Quality Authority. How important is it? It is important to us because we want to know each and every food business operator, and we want to know their premises, and we want to know what they're dealing with. It's very important to us for us to be able to do our work effectively and to control them.
So what is the registration process? The
registration process is very, very easy. As a matter of fact, you can come just in 5 minutes and register and go your way. You just have to come with your ID card and your GRA registrations or whatever registrations that you have to show that you have also registered with other relevant authorities. It is very, very free for now. We want to make sure that we capture everybody. Yes, the medical certificates are very, very important, because you cannot just get up and then venture into a food business operator. As a food business operator, you should be medically screened to know your health status, to know if you're fit to sell food.
On day 3 of the Constitution Review Commission's consultation tour, officials of the CRC on Wednesday held a meeting in the community of Kuntaya in Jokadu. Momono Gajaga has more.
There seems to be a consensus in Kuntaya village in the Jokadu district that the chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission, chiefs and regional governors should all be elected by the people and not appointed by the president, as the case in the old constitution. Respondents were contributing to issues raised by the vice chairperson of the Constitutional Review Commission, Hawasise Sabali, during a deliberation on certain points of the issues document. We are asking if the president should still continue to hold the powers to appoint the IEC chairman and deputies. Usman Khan from Meme village said, the position of IEC chairman should be contested and voted for by the people to decide. Ahmed Khan, a resident of Kuntaya, echoes similar sentiments, but was quick to caution that he is worried by the huge cost involved in conducting too many elections.
The local governors, it might be very hectic to do this election because of it goes with cost, that is finance. To save the country well, we can just leave it to the hands of the president to do the appointment of his governors, but preferable if the person can be a native of that region.
On the issue of whether regional governors should be appointed by the president or elected by the people, Aliu Bangura prefers the will of the majority, especially at the district level, should prevail.
The regional governors should also be elected by the people, because the people are the one that know the problems of their areas. So if they are selected by the president, they select anyone from nowhere and bring him or her to your region to be practicing, to be doing all necessary works in the office. Some of them will be in the office there without knowing the region, without knowing the district.
Often such appointments are seen to be based on political patronage rather than merit, he argues. District chiefs are appointed by the president, and if he decides, he can remove them as well. For Kumba Jom, to avoid a situation of someone being appointed who might not represent the will of the majority, chiefs should be elected to represent the people in their respective districts. I think in order to avoid problems, there should be election in deciding who should be the chief, just like how presidential elections are conducted. That is my thought on the issue. Mamadou Gajaga, QTV News, Kuntaya.
And in sports, Gambia Football Federation GFF 2017 Cup holders Hawks Football Club have signed a 2-year contract agreement with jersey production company KLMS. The company will provide jerseys to the club come the 2018-2019 league season. The official unveiling of the jersey was held on Wednesday at the club's house in Kanifing. The event was attended by the club's president, James Gomez, past and present players of the club, president of the Gambia Football Federation, and KLMS representative in the Gambia. As Aliou Cissé reports, KLMS is based in Barcelona, Spain, and the deal seeks to benefit both parties.
Hawks Football Club, founded in 1973 by the late Mr. Ousseynou Enemdiaye, has come a long way since inception from an amateur club team to one of the oldest and leading teams currently playing in the first division. Since its formation as a purely amateur team without any major sponsorship, the club relied on the founder and dedicated people as members of the executive of the club who serve as sponsors, giving financial and moral support to the team. Under their leadership, Hawks FC has made tremendous progress over the years, gaining promotion from the second division to the first division in 1975, but relegated in 1978, only to return to the first division in 1979, where the team has stayed to this date. The team was crowned First Division League champions twice, Second Division League champions once, won 5 FA Cups, the most recently being the 2016-2017 FA Cup final played in June 2017, and 1 Super Cup. The history of Hawks cannot be completed without mention of its founder, patron and greatest asset, Mr. Ousseynou Enemdiaye, who passed away on the 5th of September 2002 and left a big vacuum that will be very hard to fill. Over the years, the team has embarked on promoting various youth development, educational and football programs for boys and girls respectively. Club's president James Gomez said the partnership between Hawks and KLMS is timely and will no doubt elevate the status of the club. He used the occasion to thank the GFF for its support to the clubs. Hawks is currently the only team that has teams participating in all the 3 tiers of Gambian Football Federation leagues. That is the First Division, Second Division and Third Division. Sadibou Kamaso is the Secretary General of the Hawks Football Club.
Cognizance of the importance of having a fixed brand for the club, coupled with our ambition to become a professional club, the club couldn't resist the chance to enter into a partnership with KLMS through Acom Sports in February 2017 for the production of the team's jerseys when the opportunity arose. KLMS is a reputable sports apparel manufacturing company based in Spain with representatives in different countries. When the proposal to enter into a possible partnership with KLMS for the manufacture of the club kits came to the attention of the Hawks executive, we were very impressed by the high sense of professionalism, probity, determination, and above all, the high sense of commitment of the partners and their vision to develop sports in Africa, most especially football.
KLMS representative in the Gambia, Sang Mendy, explains that the Gambia is the third after Senegal and Guinea-Bissau, where KLMS are partnering with clubs. He hopes the 2-year partnership will further motivate Hawks players to give their best on the pitch. According to Mendy, KLMS is open to partnering with all other clubs, provided they meet the requirements of the company.
Since I introduced Hawks to KLMS, it has always been professional, and that is what I like most about this club. The two parties have always behaved and acted in a professional manner. I have always been positive that KLMS have landed a true partner in Hawks because I know and have worked with some of the members of Hawks FC. Today, we are unveiling a partnership worth thousands of dollars. And both parties are happy and looking forward to the start of the new league season when Hawks shall proudly wear our brand in camp and also on the pitch. We hope the kit sponsorship deal will motivate everyone in the club to give their best.
For Lamin Kababajo, the president of the Gambia Football Federation, the partnership comes at a time when the federation is working on turning the league into a professional one. Bajo, who was re-elected GFA president in September by football stakeholders for another 4-year term, reassured Federation's commitment to football development and support to all the clubs.
Hawks, with its partners, KLMS, have really broken history today in the annals of our football development. And this wouldn't have come at a better time when, as you are all aware, the Gambia Football Federation is making efforts to professionalize our clubs, by extension, to have a professional league. And this couldn't have happened without the clubs being better structured, capacitized, and reinforced in all facets, financially, administratively, logistically, and human resource-wise.
Ahead of the 2018-2019 domestic league, the partnership will see Hawks play in their branded Kelemis jerseys for their home and away games. Kelemis will also provide outfit for the team's camping and tracksuit as well. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
Before we end this bulletin, we recap our main headlines. The ferry Kanilai is ready for operation after being out of service for over 2 months. The ferry has been under maintenance and the officials of the Gambia Ports Authority say it will be fully operational by Friday. The women of Kampati in the Fonyi Kansala district, West Coast region, are reaping the benefit of baby corn cultivated on their 5 hectares garden. Radville Farms is facilitating the exportation of the crops with support from the Gambia Commercial Agriculture and Value Chain Management Project, GCAV, and Horticulture Technical Services under the Ministry of Agriculture. The Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, in partnership with the Gambia Bankers Association, today hosted officials from the ECOWAS Bank for investment and development. The gathering, according to officials, is to enhance engagement between the financial institution and the public-private sector. And in sports, one of Gambia's oldest football club, Hawks, partnered Kelemis for the provision of quality branded jersey ahead of the commencement of the 2018-2019 domestic leagues. That's all we have for you in this edition of the news. Join us tomorrow for more news.